being a part of this family and the platform that comes with that is an incredible responsibility that I take really seriously.
Before Meghan Markle was living in a $14 million mansion in Montecito, California, she was making $800 an episode, standing in 5-inch heels, holding a briefcase on a game show, before she signed a $100 million Netflix deal.
It was Meghan Markle's first major TV gig.
Meghan, open the case.
As a briefcase model on the game show, Deal or No Deal.
She was sitting at a table with a white sock on her hand, writing wedding invitations in calligraphy, just to pay rent. And before the entire world knew her name, she once wrote on an anonymous blog, "I've spent many days curled up in bed with a loaf of bread and some wine. A one-woman pity party." This is the real money story of Meghan Markle. And trust me, it's wilder than you think. We're going to break down exactly how she went from a $5 million net worth to $60 million, and how a single Instagram photo changed everything. We'll show you the deal that paid her more per hour than most people make in a year, the Spotify disaster where an executive called her a grifter to her face, and the lifestyle brand move she made after leaving the Royals that sold out in under 60 minutes. But to understand how she built this fortune, you have to go back to when she had nothing. Meghan Markle was born in 1981 in Canoga Park, Los Angeles. Her parents divorced when she was 6. Her dad, Thomas Markle, was a lighting director on the set of General Hospital and Married with Children. Her mom, Doria Ragland, was a makeup artist turned yoga instructor.
Yeah, he's great. He's an interesting guy. He's a prince, but my daughter's been a princess since the day she was born.
They weren't rich, they weren't poor. But Meghan learned early that if she wanted anything in life, she'd have to earn it herself. At 13 years old, she got her first job, scooping frozen yogurt at a place called Humphrey Yogurt for minimum wage. The owner later said, it takes a special personality to handle the pressure in that shop, and that Meghan had it early on. That was her introduction to earning money.
My first job was when I was 13 at a frozen yogurt shop called Humphrey Yogurt.
Humphrey Yogurt still exists and is seeing a spike in business after Meghan's brief mention.
It's actually really good. One day, Meghan Markle had a memorable encounter while she worked at the yogurt shop.
She went to Northwestern University, double majored in theater and international studies, studied abroad in Madrid, and even interned at the U.S. Embassy in Buenos Aires. Smart woman, ambitious woman. But when she got back to LA and tried to start her acting career, she hit a wall nobody talks about. She was mixed race. And in her own words, I wasn't black enough for the black roles, and I wasn't white enough for the white ones. So, while other actresses were getting callbacks, Meghan was surviving on side hustles. She worked as a hostess at a restaurant in Beverly Hills. She taught gift wrapping classes. And here's the one that always gets people. She became a freelance calligrapher. She had incredible handwriting, so she'd sit at a table for hours with a little white sock on her hand, so the oil from her skin wouldn't smudge the paper. And she'd write out wedding invitations, one by one.
Meghan, you are a calligrapher?
I used to be, yes. That was, I went to all-girls Catholic school. Handwriting class was one of those
And
lost
how do
arts.
calligraphers get paid? I mean, who employs calligraphers?
You know, it's
Wedding
funny.
reception people?
Absolutely. Wedding reception people
Yes,
also.
please, let her do it.
Oh, no.
Check this out.
She did the invitations for Robin Thicke and Paula Patton's wedding. She did Dolce & Gabbana's holiday correspondence. She taught calligraphy classes at Paper Source in Beverly Hills. She later called it my version of being a waitress while trying to get on Broadway. And during this time, she did something almost no one knows about. Between 2010 and 2012, she ran an anonymous blog called The Working Actress. No name attached, no photos, just raw, honest entries about what it's really like to be a struggling actress in Hollywood. She wrote about sexism from casting agents, about financial hardships, about loneliness. One entry read, I've spent many days curled up in bed with a loaf of bread and some wine. A one-woman pity party. It's awful and ridiculous. That's not the Meghan Markle people see today. But that was her reality. And then, in 2006, she got what she thought was her big break. A spot as a briefcase girl on Deal or No Deal. She was briefcase number 24. She made $800 per episode. And the craziest part? That was the best salary she had ever earned at that point.
Sat next to each other. She was number 24. Meghan is beautiful, smart, talented. I feel she absolutely deserves to be a princess.
Meghan Markle, whatever her name is, to my Deal or No Deal celebrity golf tournament. She was one of my Deal or No Deal girls that were, she was a caddy.
But she hated it. She later said she felt objectified, lined up, given fake eyelashes, spray tan vouchers, and told to suck it in. She said she left every taping with a pit in her stomach, knowing she was so much more than what was being objectified on the stage. Oh, and one more detail. Chrissy Teigen was on the backup squad at the same time. The two of them were both nobodies, holding briefcases for $800. Remember that name, because Chrissy shows up again later in this story in a way you won't expect. But everything was about to change because of one $35 dress. In 2011, Meghan walked into an audition for a new legal drama called Suits. She was wearing a plum tank top and black jeans. But right before she walked in, she looked down at her outfit and thought, this isn't what a lawyer would wear. So she ran across the street into an H&M, grabbed a black dress for $35, didn't even try it on, walked into the audition, and absolutely killed it. She got the role of Rachel Zane almost on the spot.
Before Meghan Markle was a blushing bride-to-be, she was a star on Suits, a popular show on our sister network, USA.
She was indeed. Markle played Rachel Zane, a paralegal at a major Manhattan law firm who had big dreams of becoming an attorney.
That $35 dress just changed the entire trajectory of her life. Suits wasn't just a role, it was a paycheck machine. At her peak, she was making $50,000 per episode. That's $450,000 per year. Over 7 seasons, she earned roughly $4 million from the show alone. But here's the thing about Meghan. She was never a one-income person. While shooting Suits in Toronto 9 months out of the year, she launched a lifestyle blog called The Tig in 2014.
The Tig is a lifestyle site that I launched last year, and it's really just about an inspired lifestyle.
Named after her favorite wine, Tignanello. It pulled in $80,000 a year from sponsorships and endorsements. She was also doing speaking engagements.
The name The Tig comes from a wine called Tignanello, but oftentimes it's mispronounced Tignanello. And I had a sip of this wine about 6 or 7 years ago, and it was the first time that I understood what people meant when they said the body or legs or structure of wine. It was such an, oh, I get it kind of moment that for me it became a Tig moment.
At the United Nations Women Conference in 2015, at the One Young World Summit, earning up to $20,000 per speech. And she did 2 capsule fashion collections with the Canadian retailer Reitmans that both sold out. Multiple income streams. Even back then, remember that, because it becomes the blueprint for everything she does later. By 2016, Meghan Markle's personal net worth was around $5 million. A successful actress, a growing brand, a comfortable life. But she was about to meet someone who would multiply that number by 12. And it all started with one Instagram photo. In July 2016, Prince Harry was scrolling through Instagram. He came across a photo his friend Violet von Westenholz had posted. It was a selfie with Meghan, both of them with cartoon filters on their faces. Harry couldn't stop staring. He messaged Violet immediately. "Who is that girl? I need her number." A few days later, Harry and Meghan met for drinks at Soho House. He ordered a beer. She ordered a martini. And she later said, "He was just so fun, just so refreshingly fun. We were childlike together."
I was scrolling through my feed and someone who was a friend had this video of the two of them. It was like a Snapchat.
Oh gosh, just that whole thing. It started like dog ears.
Dog ears. And
that's what he saw of me. And then she sent me an email saying, "I know you said you're single, and a friend of mine asked about you, and maybe you'd like to meet him." And I said, "Who is it?" And she said, "It's Prince Has." And I said, "Who's that?" But that's your homework. You're like, look, let me see what they're about in their feed, not what someone else says about them, but what they are putting out about themselves.
We had a great chat for about an hour.
I left after an hour, and I told him that I had other plans. And then I called him that evening, and I was like, "Look, I'm leaving the day after tomorrow. Do you want to grab dinner tomorrow night?" I what? I what?
You were late.
I was late?
Yeah. Remember? You came rushing in from having a shower.
Like 5
a few minutes.
Yeah.
But you were quite flustered.
I hate being late.
You could be as late as you want. I ain't moving. I want to see you again. That was when it just hit me. I was like, okay, this girl, this woman is amazing. Is everything that I've been looking for.
Now here's where the money story gets interesting. At the time, Harry was worth about $20 million, most of it from a trust fund set up by his late mother, Princess Diana, plus an inheritance from the Queen Mother. And Meghan was worth $5 million. Combined, they were sitting at $25 million. They got engaged in November 2017.
An engagement that's being announced by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Let's watch this. This has been something that fashion designers and people all over the world have been watching for, and just love aficionados and fans of the royal family.
Meghan gave up suits, walked away from $450,000 a year, shut down the TIG, and became a working royal. The wedding in May 2018, it cost $43 million. The dress alone was worth hundreds of thousands.
Partly in search of much-needed good news, many were up before sunrise to watch the royal wedding, and it delivered in fairy tale fashion. An American actress became a real-life princess bride, and Roxana Saberi is there.
Wearing a white silk dress she helped create with British designer Claire Waite Keller, the first American bride to walk down this aisle set out on her own, then took the hand of Britain's next king. As Prince Harry waited, he looked a little anxious, but the sight of her appeared to put him at ease.
But here's the thing nobody tells you. As a senior working royal, Meghan wasn't allowed to earn her own money. No brand deals, no acting, no blog, no businesses, nothing. The royal family had strict rules. They even demanded to see the scripts of Suits episodes and had final say on her character's dialogue before she left the show. She went from building her own empire to being financially dependent on the crown. And that tension, that's the key to everything that happened next. In January 2020, Harry and Meghan made the announcement that shook the world. They were stepping back as senior royals. The media called it Megxit. The palace was furious. And overnight, they lost everything that came with the royal safety net.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle resigning from the royal family. They released a statement about an hour ago. This is what it says. It says, after many months of reflection and internal discussions, we've chosen to make a transition this year in starting to carve out a progressive new role within this institution. This is the key bit. They go on to say, we intend to step back as senior members of the royal family and work to become financially independent while continuing to fully support Her Majesty the Queen. Now, clearly this is shocking, but perhaps not that surprising for royal watchers. Just yesterday, they were at Canada House thanking officials for the hospitality they were shown during a 6-week trip to Canada, choosing to spend their Christmas in Canada, not at Sandringham House, with the rest of the royal family.
No more taxpayer-funded security, no more royal residences, no more sovereign grant. They even had to repay nearly $3 million in taxpayer money that had been used to renovate Frogmore Cottage. Money they didn't really have liquid at that moment. They moved to Canada first, then to LA. They were crashing at Tyler Perry's mansion because they didn't even have a place of their own yet. At this point, Forbes Africa reported their combined net worth had dropped to around $10 million. They were bleeding money. They had no income, no infrastructure. The entire British press was calling them traitors. And they had a newborn baby. Think about that for a second. They went from Buckingham Palace to couch surfing at a friend's house.
Thanks to another amazing friend who we've never met, but who believes in us and wants to help.
From $25 million combined to $10 million and falling. From royalty to unemployment. Most people thought this was the end of the Meghan Markle story. But what nobody realized is that this was actually the beginning of the biggest financial comeback in modern celebrity history.
Prince Harry and his wife Meghan announced on social media they are stepping back from their role as senior members of the royal family. Today in London, well, as you can imagine, the story is plastered all over the newspapers, and it is the topic of conversation around water coolers all over the UK. Some of the tabloids are calling the two the rogue royals and describing the move as Megxit. Others say they're turning their backs on the royal family.
Within months of leaving the royals, Meghan and Harry made a move that changed everything. They signed with the Harry Walker Agency, the same agency that represents Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, and Oprah Winfrey. Their fee? Up to $1 million per speaking engagement. One speech, $1 million. The same woman who used to get $20,000 per talk during her Suits days was now getting 50 times that. But that was just the warm-up. Deal number 1, Netflix, $100 million. In September 2020, they signed a multi-year production deal with Netflix worth over $100 million. Some reports say with bonuses and performance incentives, it could be worth up to $150 million. Their first major project, the Harry and Meghan docuseries, dropped in late 2022 and became one of Netflix's biggest releases.
All right, big news in the world of entertainment. Netflix has decided it will not renew its deal with Prince Harry and Meghan. It looks like the $100 million multi-year contract with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex is set to expire in September. And that's where Netflix will leave it. With more on that.
So this was a big hit for Netflix. They got a lot of publicity out of this deal. The ratings were so-so, but look, you cannot buy that publicity. But 5 years ago, they were throwing huge amounts of money for exclusive deals. And now they're realizing not always a good return on investment. So now what they're offering much smaller first peak.
Meghan later executive produced a lifestyle show called With Love, Meghan in 2025. That Netflix deal alone was enough to pay back the Frogmore Cottage renovation, buy a mansion, and fund their entire lifestyle for years. But they didn't stop there. Deal number 2, Spotify, $18 million. 3 months after the Netflix deal, they signed a 3-year podcasting agreement with Spotify for $18 million. Meghan launched her podcast Archetypes.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's media empire is expanding into podcasting. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have joined forces with Spotify to produce and host podcasts, their first series coming next year. The couple have already signed a deal to produce films and TV shows for Netflix after stepping down from royal duties. In a joint statement, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex said, "What we love about podcasting is that it reminds all of us to take a moment and to really listen, to connect to one another without distraction."
And when it premiered, it knocked Joe Rogan off the #1 spot on Spotify. Read that again. She dethroned Joe Rogan. Now, here's the catch. The Spotify deal fell apart in 2023. They parted ways before the contract was up, and it's unclear how much of the $18 million was actually paid out. One Spotify executive even reportedly called them grifters. That word went viral. It was everywhere. And for a while, it looked like the momentum was dead. Rolling Stone literally wrote about the couple's flop era.
What about Meghan and Harry? I see that Spotify have dumped, and I can't imagine why, because it was just such riveting audio.
Apparently it did rate well amongst some audiences, but...
I can tell you exactly who it would have rated well amongst, but yeah.
Yes, exactly. So this is Meghan's Archetypes podcast, where she interviews renowned women and some men of influence, like herself. She had a $20 million, her and Harry had a $20 million deal with Spotify to put out material, but apparently due to failing to meet.
But here's what most people missed. Meghan didn't disappear. She pivoted. In 2025, she launched a new podcast called Confessions of a Female Founder with Lemonada Media. Quieter, smarter, more targeted. Less noise, more strategy.
The reviews for Confessions of a Female Founder are in, and if Meghan Googles herself as much as we know she does, she will not be happy with them. Critically and socially, Markle's podcast has been met with a less than stellar reception, earning only 2 stars from outlets like The Telegraph, Standard, and The Guardian. And actually today, I wish I could remember what paper it was, but I saw a 1 star, which is pretty bad.
Deal number 3, the book. In 2021, Meghan published a children's book called The Bench. It became a New York Times bestseller.
Next up, Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, has a children's book, and it's coming out next week, and we are now getting a peek inside. The book, called The Bench, explores the bond between fathers and sons, and it's inspired by a poem Meghan actually wrote for Harry on Father's Day.
Deal number 4, the real estate. In August 2020, they bought a $14.7 million estate in Montecito, California. They put down $5 million in cash and took out a $10 million mortgage. The property alone has likely appreciated significantly since then. In 2024, Meghan quietly filed a trademark. Originally called American Riviera Orchard, a nod to Santa Barbara's nickname. She later renamed it As Ever. And in March 2025, she soft-launched it alongside her Netflix show. Now here's why this is the move most people aren't paying attention to. Netflix isn't just her production partner anymore. They became her business partner. She said it herself. Netflix came on not just as my partner in the show, but as my partner in my business, which was huge. As Ever launched with artisanal food products, raspberry jam, strawberry spread, herbal teas, shortbread cookie mix, crepe mix, honey, and something called flour sprinkles.
More trouble for Meghan Markle launching her lifestyle brand. As Allison Hall reports, the new name she's chosen,
And it's called As Ever. As Ever essentially means as it's always been. Of course, there will be fruit preserves. I think we're all clear at this point that jam is my jam.
It sounds small, almost cute. It sold out in under 1 hour. Every single product, gone. And it wasn't a fluke. Every restock since has sold out too. The summer 2025 rosé wine sold out in under an hour. The holiday collection with candles and sparkling wine, same thing. People are lining up around the digital block every time she drops anything.
Meghan's As Ever products are finally out. We finally know what they are. I've got a little list here, and I'll read through some of them and see what you think. We've got some raspberry spread in keepsake packaging. That's $14 US. Herbal lemon ginger tea for $12 US. Flour sprinkles you can get for $15. Okay. Shortbread cookie mix with flour sprinkles included, $14. Are we excited about Meghan's As Ever brand merchandise?
And here's a detail that's almost too perfect. Before the brand officially launched, Meghan sent 50 jars of strawberry jam to friends and influencers. Not just anyone. She sent them to Kris Jenner, to Tracy Ellis Ross, to Mindy Kaling, and to Chrissy Teigen. The same Chrissy Teigen who was standing next to her on the backup squad of Deal or No Deal 20 years earlier. Both of them holding briefcases for $800. Now one is sending the other a jar of jam from her own lifestyle empire. But here's where it gets really strategic. The candles she sells? They're numbered. Candle number 519. That's May 19th, her wedding anniversary with Harry. Candle number 084, August 4th, her birthday. And Harry was born in 1984. She's not just selling products, she's selling her story. Every item is a piece of the narrative. That's branding at a level most companies can only dream about. And she's not done. Trademark filings show As Ever is expanding into tableware, cookbooks, gardening tools, linens, stationery, and even pet products. There are reports she's planning to move into hospitality, hotels and restaurants under the As Ever name. And Netflix is opening physical stores called Netflix House in Philadelphia and Dallas, where As Ever products will have their first brick-and-mortar presence. This isn't a celebrity side hustle. This is a Goop-level play. Except Meghan herself has said she wants it to be something more accessible than Goop. Gwyneth built a $700 million brand. Meghan's just getting started. So let's do the math. Before marrying Harry, Meghan was worth $5 million. Harry brought about $20 million. Combined, $25 million. After leaving the royals, they crashed to about $10 million. Then, Netflix deal, $100 million. Spotify deal, $18 million. Speaking engagements at $1 million each. A best-selling book, a new lifestyle brand that sells out in under an hour, $14 million in real estate, a podcast, a wine line, and an expanding product empire. As of 2025, Meghan and Harry's combined net worth is estimated at $60 million. Now you might be thinking, wait, if the Netflix deal alone was $100 million, shouldn't they be worth more? And that's a fair question. But remember, production deals aren't pure profit. A huge chunk of that money goes into actually making the shows, paying crews, and covering overhead. The $60 million is what's left after expenses, taxes, mortgage, and reinvestment into their businesses. But here's the part that blows my mind. They went from $10 million at their lowest point to $60 million in less than 5 years. That's a 6 times increase. Without acting, without royal funding, without a traditional career of any kind, and with As Ever still in its first year and already selling out every drop, that $60 million number is almost certainly going to keep climbing. And that's what makes this story so fascinating, regardless of what you think of Meghan Markle personally. Love her or hate her, the financial playbook she used is the same one we see in every modern celebrity wealth story. Step 1. Build an audience. Step 2. Leave the system that limits you. Step 3. Monetize your name across multiple platforms. Step 4. Build something you own. She went from writing calligraphy with a sock on her hand for other people's weddings to having a $100 million deal with the biggest streaming platform on the planet. From $800 an episode holding a briefcase to $1 million for a single speech. From an anonymous blog about being broke and lonely in Hollywood to a lifestyle brand that sells out faster than most Supreme drops. And maybe the craziest detail of all, her As Ever brand now sells a leather bookmark with the words "Fell asleep here" stamped in her own handwriting, the same calligraphy she once used to pay rent. She literally turned her struggle into a product. You don't have to like her, but you have to respect the math. If you want to see another insane celebrity money story, check out this video right here. I'll see you in the next one.